Hi everyone, welcome back to my show. I'm Anja Braun and this is English Breakfast. Today we have another very special guest. I say this every single time, but today we actually do have a special guest. This is the man behind the camera, the number one. This is Kause. Yay! Just really clap. Yay! Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Got lots to talk about.
Oh, we do.
Before we get started, let's get into the tea of the week.
The tea of the week this week is that this is the final episode of English Breakfast Season 1, and I cannot believe it. I'm so happy. I'm sick, so I sound a little bit crazy, but I just have to express my gratitude to every single person who's watched the show, every single person who's worked on the show. I got to tell people stories, I got to talk to them, I got to connect with them, and that's the thing that I like to do the most. And so being able to do that with some of the people that I love the most in this world has been incredibly fruitful, and I feel honored. So thank you so much if you've watched this entire season. Season 2 will be on its way. Girl, this shit is hard. So make sure that you are subscribed so I can keep doing it. Thank you so much again to every single person who was on English Breakfast Season 1. I know I sound crazy, but don't worry, English Breakfast will be living a long, long, fruitful life. So I'll be back again. That's it for me. Back to the show.
As of right now, on Spotify, your most popular song is Akira. What do you think about that song makes it resonate the most with people right now?
I mean, when I made it, I feel like it was one of those songs that just like has that energy. Because the beat, I feel like as an artist, when you make shit, sometimes you kind of have this instinct where it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a hit. And then sometimes you have no idea. Most of the time it's no idea, but for this one, when I made it, I was just like, just a banger. Like on the project, I just kind of knew. You know what I'm saying? But I think why people are attracted to it is because the energy of the beat, what I'm saying is more simplified. So I'm a lyricist, so a lot of the stuff I say is like really complicated. You gotta like read into it. Sometimes if you're a real rap fan, then you would, you know what I mean? You would fuck with it. Oh shit. And then other times it's like one of those things where when you simplify, sometimes people just get it quicker. And it's just one of those things just, you know what I'm saying?
I remember, I forget who it was, but they were talking about working with somebody behind the scenes or whatever, and they were saying that one of the biggest things that helped them was essentially to, I don't say simplify their lyrics, but make them like really easily digestible, like get straight to the point. You know what I mean? There's no, if we're talking about your lyricism, how do you think that that has evolved from your first self-titled Kause on Soundcloud to your present EP Meta?
I think just knowing when to do things and having space in the songs. Like you can have a lot of lyricism in your songs, but I feel like space is the one thing that helps people digest it better. Because I never want to pander. Like I don't want to be one of those niggas that's just like fucking that just has songs that are like super simple ABC. I'll never do that ever.
Okay, never.
You can quote me on that.
Never.
No, I'm just kidding. But like, creativity is creativity. Like if you want to make a song like that, cool. Like by all means. But I'm saying like I don't want to pander. Like all my songs would never be like that. It's just about having space. So I have like, let's say a section where it's like a lot of rap, and then just space for people to digest, whether it be a hook, whether it be like just letting the instrumental breathe, things like that.
Let it breathe.
Yeah, let it breathe.
I want to know because I would have no idea. I'm sure lots of people have no idea. Like, how does one go about making a song? Like, okay, obviously, like if you're gonna like write the words, like okay, we can understand that, but like where did the sounds come from? Do you know what I'm saying? Like the beat, the instruments, like because from like an outside perspective, we were hearing a song, but obviously if someone were telling me make a song right now, I would think, okay, well either I or someone I know has to play the violin, we record it, somebody else has to play the sax, we record it. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I would have no idea how you actually, like, where does the actual music part come from when you're the person who's writing the words and not the music?
Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to the producers. Shout out Alex. Shout out Berlin. Shout out Black Tea. And whoever I missed, but shout them out first.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, producers, especially in today's day and age, where like a lot of rap, a lot of music is ultra simplified and ultra like, just ear candy, really. I feel like the producers carry the heavy burden of like creating that soundscape that people really vibe to and dance with. And a lot of the artists nowadays are like more like a garnish on top. But I feel like a perfect song is like something that blends all that together. And the artist is just as important as the producer and everything, the mixing engineer and all that. But to answer your question, nowadays technology has evolved so much that you can literally get drum sounds from a certain point, a certain part, right? Percussions, different violins or guitars or whatever type of samples, and kind of blend it together to make a track. Or if you play pretty well on the keys, piano, and you know everything, you know about keys and music scaling and all that, you can kind of like create a track from scratch, just using the piano. And you can
to make the notes.
You can make the notes, so you can play the guitar on the piano. Like let's say you have a MPC.
This is where we're losing me.
And you can plug it into the computer and literally like play the guitar using the piano keys, because it's all about.
That's
keys.
not real.
Okay.
That's just not real.
It's all about taste, you know what I'm saying? Taste and working with the right people, I think, to make a good song.
And the piano plays the drums. Oh, okay. Like, can you read music?
No, I cannot read music.
Wow.
I just love music. It's more of a feeling thing.
What do you think is the most, I would say, impactful song or lyric that you have from each of your three, Kause, Hidden in Plain Sight, and Meta?
The most impactful lyric, I don't know.
Or song.
But I say song, Third Eye from the first project, because that was like my first song that gave me chills. Nowadays I listen to it, I'm like, okay, I can see what's wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you first start out making music, it's always like, you're supposed to get better fast. And then you plateau and then you get better again, and so on and so forth. But like, yeah, first song was Third Eye. That was the first song I made, and I was like, yo, like I can really do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You ever have that first thing, feel like, okay, this is a thing I can do long term, not just something that's...
Yeah, for sure. When you're like, oh, I actually ate, like...
Yeah, you're actually good at this.
Oh, okay.
That was the first song I made that I felt like, yeah, like I could do this shit. The second one, I say it was Hidden in Plain Sight is the name of the second project, by the way. I say it was Perfect Timing. Perfect Timing. That was one of those like milestone records. Like I was like, yo, my pen getting sharper on this one. And then the last one, I say Gita.
Okay.
Because it's just a different weird chanty kind of song, something I hadn't done before. So yeah.
How do you think that your collaborations, because we're talking about Perfect Timing, obviously you've got Yemi on it. How do you think that your collaborations with other rappers or other, singers, artists have helped you grow in making your new songs, making what you have just come out, and then what you're gonna have come out in the near future?
I think collaborations are important as fuck. Like, I think it's something that people know already, but like that can really make or break you in terms of like growing as an artist. Because some people just help you grow faster. You know what I'm saying? I feel like working with like artists like KG and Smooth Waffle, I feel like they really helped me grow faster than I would have if I was just by myself. I did most of my growing by myself, because I'm really detailed when it comes to like my research and shit like that. But a lot of the stuff that I've learned is from them as well. Like, so I say shout out to them. Working with Yemi, it was always dope too. Like just she's a vocalist, so like learning how to layer vocals and sing and stuff like that always helped me too. So yeah, I say it's incredibly important. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Why are you smiling? What's wrong with you?
She's so beautiful, y'all. I can't help but smile.
Please, sir, focus.
I'm trying. It's so hard.
Anyway, so you are with Punctum, the whole collective, and we're talking about collaboration. How do you, because I get to see firsthand sort of the way all the puzzle pieces fit together as sort of the glue of that
collective of artists, Punctum.
Okay, so anyway.
The collection of artists. Collective.
As you are the glue to this collective of all these different artists, and we know that working with artists and knowing artists and speaking to artists is quite fickle, considering the emotional range that allows for good art.
This is true.
However, how are you personally going about sort of managing those emotions and personalities of vastly different people to eventually get to a place where you can collaborate efficiently?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I feel like you said, like artists are so like, we're kind of like airheads a little bit. Like we be just living in the clouds and shit like that. So like a lot of times it's like bringing people down and egos and handling egos, managing egos, just to just come together to really complete a goal, a common goal. So like for me, I try not to lead with my ego and being like, I'm the leader of this and I want to accomplish this. It's more so like we can all help each other reach a certain point of like success. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. creating a movement in Philly and eventually the country and eventually the world that can alter and change music, you know what I'm saying? That's always the goal. It's up to the people to decide whether that's something that they want to invest in. But for me, that's always been the goal. Like I'm always gonna like try to reach for the highest height, elevation. Just have my hands.
For background information, he's also a photographer. How do you think that the history of like multimedia has helped you with music?
Oh, it's helped immensely. Like me being a photographer, videographer, just a creative in general. Like I started off drawing. Like I was always an artist, like from young. Art kind of runs in my blood. You know what I mean? A lot of my family members were artists, whether professional or amateur. So I always grew up like with a certain level of skill and a certain level of imagination since a kid. When I started getting into photography, I really got into both at the same time, but I was kind of embarrassed in my raps at first because it's like, you know, you gotta get to a certain level before you feel like, okay, this is good. Some people just release right away and then they get discouraged and shit like that. But for me, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait to tell people I do this, but so they don't kill my dream type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I get to a certain point where it's like, oh, they can see the potential in it. So I was always working on that. But photography was something I was always interested in. And it really helped me see the world differently and really helped me like compose other parts of my art when it comes to music. Like for instance, like when I make a song or something I really fuck with, I'm immediately like, oh, I know where this could go. I know how I would film this. I know what this would look like as a video, as a concept, the photography for the album artwork, whatever. And so it's kind of easy for me to creatively direct myself. And I think that's my advantage as an artist. I'm a visual artist too, so if y'all see me and y'all hear my music, you know there's something attached to it.
I don't know how many videos you have out right now for Meta?
For Meta, I have 3. So we got 2 more coming. By the time y'all see this video, it's probably
they'll be out.
At least one of them are gonna be out, but yeah.
How are you bringing the photography aspects to the group?
Basically? Oh, yeah. Just essentially lending a hand where I can. So like for KG's project, Peridot, that's coming out soon. Go get that. I did the photography for the.
Also, I thought that said period at first. Like,
oh yeah,
period.
Yeah, very like on the line of that.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, period.
It's kind of like that though, for real, period. Like that's what it is. But for Peridot, I did the creative direction for some of the videos, also some of the photography. The album cover shot by me, edited by Berlin, aka Smooth Waffle. So I'm always gonna be in that realm of like, if I'm not shooting the cover art, there's gonna be somebody involved that I know. Sometimes I will refer somebody. If I can't shoot the video, we'll refer somebody to shoot it. Also, Pat, aka Partly Truth, is somebody we've been working close with, and he's been doing all my videos for Meta. And he's a close collaborator. Yeah, thank you. So I direct a lot of those videos, but obviously I can't shoot myself, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have time to edit, so he does all that. Delegating tasks and going where I'm needed.
How do you think that when you're talking about, you know, getting your music to a certain level before you put it out as to not have your dreams crushed by the cold hearts of others, where do you think the line is, or how do you find the line of wanting to show people at a certain quality and also not keeping it to yourself to where it'll never be the quality, you know what I mean, that you want? Right. How do you find the perfect timing?
Yeah, that's a fine line. I think you have to find it for yourself. Like, a lot of people think it's like a formula to shit, and there is to a certain degree if you want to be a certain type of artist, but for the most part, it's just like finding your divine timing, realizing within yourself, like, what do you want to do? Know yourself, know that, okay, I'm the type of person that, for me, I know that early on I can be influenced, but once I know I can do something, I'm going for it all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not holding back, I'm not stopping. Nobody can stop me at that point. But knowing that, I had to like, okay, let me get a little bit of a buffer. Let me not tell them that I do this yet. So for you, if you're the type of person that gets energy off of feedback, whether it be negative or positive, maybe you should put your shit out first. But put it on SoundCloud, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever you do, whether it be photos too, show people that can give you a valid opinion on things. Don't just show anyone that doesn't care. Show someone that's actually gonna look at the work and tell you what they really think about it. I think that's where we go wrong. Sometimes we look for validation in people that are haters. Right. If you a hater, you gonna hate. You know what I'm saying? You ain't really gonna give a fuck about whether it's good or not. You're gonna think, I can't do that, so they can't do that. Don't seek validation. Seek opinions and feedback from people that care. I say that's the number one rule to grow. And don't wait till it's perfect to put it out. Just wait till it's good. It'll never be perfect.
How do you think that your personal support system in your life has influenced your ability to even feel as though, like, to feel confident enough to be like, I can pursue this? I mean, I personally know that you have a lot of people around you who deeply care about you, you know, and want to see you succeed. Just how do you think that that has affected your overall confidence?
I think a lot, tremendously. Like, shout out to mom and dad, Peter and Tara Kira. Shout out, mom.
Not their whole names.
You know what I'm saying? Government. They helped me grow in so many ways, but also allowing me the space to grow into who I am. Because, you know, a lot of parents, they want to push whatever they think that you can do or whatever they think that you should do onto their children, and I feel like that's detrimental. And everyone in my family is supportive. They're gonna let you know if the shit is ass, though. You know what I'm saying? They always gonna let you know, but they let you know if it's good too, and they always show up and support. That was a key factor into making me who I am and like helping me believe that I could do shit. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say that was also a key factor in your overall music taste and exposure to music?
Definitely. My mom's a huge music fan. She would always have like different artists on, you know, from Bob Marley, Lauryn Hill to Kanye West to a bunch of different people, Nina Simone, and just a wide range of like black artists, and also like a lot of reggae. My dad's Jamaican, so he had a lot of Barris Hammond on, you know what I'm saying, Sizzla, like shit like that. So I always had a good range of people to pull from. And then like when I grew up and started really, my own music taste started developing, I would go and like dive into shit that they didn't put me on, but stuff that I always wanted to like learn about, like more alternative artists like Bjork and a bunch of different other people, like, so. Do
you think that, I mean, I know in a couple of the upcoming tracks we get a little bit of singing action. Do you? Is that the Hannah Montana theme song? How is your singing journey going?
It's going. We gonna get it right though. By the time it come to y'all, it's gonna be right. Trust me. But I've never been a singer. I have a decent voice though. I like my voice as a rapper and as a speaker, but singing is something I had to get comfortable with. Everyone has a range, and I feel like what makes a singer seem like they're bad is because they go outside of their range a lot. But for me, I just want to find that range. So right now I'm in the process of finding my range and also like widening that range. Yeah, I still say it. Just forget I said that. Like... No, you just can't say words for some reason, like words that you say all the time. But just really getting that range down pack and like, I wouldn't say perfecting, but getting to a respectable level. Because I wouldn't call myself a singer even when I start singing more. But I always want to be able to express myself.
Are you going to Drake us?
I'm definitely not going to Drake us. It's going to be bars. Y'all getting the bars, man. We got to get the bars.
Okay, next question. How do you feel that, if we're talking about the visual arts and then we're talking about the music, I personally feel like there is a nice in-between wherein lies fashion.
Yes.
So when it comes to fashion, when it comes to clothes, and when it comes to all of these different avenues of self-expression, how do you think that your style has evolved along with your music?
I put that shit on. But you know,
there's the singing.
No, I think it's important to just develop your own personal style. Even if you're not heavy into fashion, just realize
scarf.
That, you know what I'm saying? It's important as a person to express yourself in that way if you want to. Not everybody wants to. Some people just want to wear simple, plain clothes, and that's okay. But
I mean, that's still their self-expression.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's still something. But I think as an artist, it plays a big part in how people view you and view your art and music, because we don't live in a vacuum anymore where it's like a motherfucker just only heard the song and don't know what you look like. 9 times out of 10, if they don't know what you look like right away, they're gonna find out pretty quickly because they could just Google you. So I think just expressing what you, or showing what you want to express through the music, and having that be a part of like what it is as a whole.
Do you think, so as we've obviously recently had our Pharrell Louis V collections come out.
Shout out Pharrell.
Which is like just a prime example, I feel, of the crossover between music and fashion. And I guess just the different avenues of creative expression. Could you see yourself doing something like that? Like designing a collection or like getting more involved in fashion as time goes on?
I always want to be more stylish and more involved in fashion on my end. I wouldn't call myself a fashion designer or ever want to really dive deeply into that world. Not that it doesn't interest me, but I have other interests, you know what I'm saying, that I want to pursue way before that. You never know though. As of right now, I think I have so much respect for it that I'm like, if I'm not gonna really do it, I'm not gonna do it. That's how the type of person I am anyway. Like, if you see me doing something, like if I'm calling myself a director, I really direct my videos. Like, I'm not just saying that if I call myself a musician, you know what I'm saying? I'm really doing it. So I don't think I would even tackle something like that unless I was willing to like go all in. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Right. How did you choose your name?
All right, so it's gonna sound corny, but it's really true.
I'm scared.
I had an epiphany. I told this story before on an interview. I think this was like March 2020. I think we all know what was happening around that time. Pandemic just started, you know what I'm saying? And then that whole summer was like George Floyd shit just happened. And I had just started like, fucking around with music really, like just started making it, trying to figure out like, damn, is this something I really want to do? Because I always loved music. And when I got to a point where I started making songs that were decent, I remember it was like the summer, that's when the George Floyd shit happened. And me and the homies did shrooms that day after we went to the protest. So it was like so much shit happened that day, and then I did shrooms.
The classic protest to shroom pipeline.
Helicopters. It felt like the country was like on the verge of collapse at that time. Because there was so much going on. The pandemic, the George Floyd shit. It was like every major city had like protests /
It was like
riots.
the largest, ever.
It was like, and even all over the world. It really felt like society was like on a bridge of collapsing. When you do shrooms in that environment, it's intense. We got to a point where it was like, there was nothing. When you on shrooms and you just can't talk anymore. Like you done had all the conversation you can have. If y'all ever, there's no more words. So we're
not condoning drug use.
Yeah, we don't condone it, but shrooms aren't drugs, they're medicine. But anyway, I went in the bathroom and I did the mirror test. You know how that goes.
Bad idea.
I think it's a good idea, but I get why people say it's a bad one. But essentially, I had an epiphany. I looked in the mirror and I was like, bro, like, why are you running from this? Like, you an artist. Like, just be who you are.
Be who you are.
Fireworks went off. Yeah, it was insane. I was just right then and there. I was just like, what would you call yourself? And literally, I was like, well, why are you doing this? And I was like, for a cause. And that's literally how the name was born. And it wasn't from Kause, Kaws, the artist. A lot of people might think that I got that from that, but no, it was literally just. But I like to like play with it. That's why I always wear the shirt.
I was thinking Kali Kira does sound like a good director name the other day. Yeah.
Artist name.
It is. Speaking of the director pathway, you would like to explore that further.
Yes.
In the future.
Yeah. Way down the line, but we getting into it right now too.
How do you think a movie score affects its overall impact on the audience?
I mean, I don't know percentage-wise, but I know it's an important factor. Like, what is life without music?
What do you think the best movie score is of all time?
That's what
I'm like,
say.
Titanic? You know what I mean? Like,
Titanic,
is it Jaws? Like, you know what I mean? Because like that
like the original,
that.
Jurassic Park even.
Right.
Like whether or not you like the movie, it was magical because of the score. Like it was so great because of E.T. Steven Spielberg is like known for like amazing scores. Scorsese has good scores too because he'll use like real old timey like soul songs and shit like that. And so is Spike Lee. Spike Lee's great when it comes to like music, and he'll incorporate songs that are like classic hip hop, classic rock, all this different shit. But those three come to mind right off the bat, and they're all different in their styles and their approach. But yeah, music is so important because not only the music that you use in it, but also the sounds and the original music behind like a lot of the action sequences, a lot of the points where you need to relieve tension in the scene and a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, it's hella important. I feel like what's life without music anyway?
All the deaf people. That's not very.
I mean, they can feel the vibration. They can feel the beat, the bass. They're like, oh, this shit. No, they say
not the bombing. But what do you think makes a good song?
I think what makes a good song is if you can convey the emotion that you're trying to go for. Like for me, how I judge art is like it's not by necessarily the style or like what I'm seeing. It's like what are they trying to tell me, and am I getting that message? Am I receiving the message? So like whether it be like a turn up song, am I feeling like, if I have to think like, is this a turn up song or is this like, if I just feel it right off the bat, like how those songs just make you cry, or the songs just make you want to dance, or the songs that make you want to, they just evoke that emotion out of you, it just pulls out of you. Or it could be a chill emotion, it can just make you want to relax. if it's something like that, I feel like that's a good song to me. And sometimes people might get a completely different intent than what the artist intended. You know what I'm saying? That's cool too. But it evoked an emotion.
That's what I was gonna say, because I'm like, obviously, like, that's nice when the person's intent does match the way that it's received, but obviously that's not necessarily also even the point of art itself. To me, I'm always like, how much does that intent matter, as opposed to how much does that impact matter?
I think the impact matters more, because if you can't create art and it can't be appreciated without a person. And everything is about context. Like, that's what we've lost a little bit, like the context of the art. It's like, the context is the time, why it was made, the place, who was it affecting, that type of shit. And if without that, it really means nothing. It's like you're screaming into the void at that point. Like, it's just like music in space. Like, if the tree falls in the forest
and nobody's around to hear it.
Yeah, it's a similar thing.
Then did it fall?
Did it fall?
Yeah.
It did fall. It did fall.
Yeah. As someone who is a snobby arto,
Cool.
how are you going about having to, or feeling like you have to use social media to draw your audience and to present your art?
It's the bane of my existence.
See, that's what I meant by the
It's
snobby
just,
arto.
it's not, you know what it is? I've tricked myself, and I was a joke obviously, but I tricked myself into like, I haven't tricked myself. Let me rephrase this. It is part of my art now. Like, if you go on my Instagram, that is art to me. How I present it and how I do things. Obviously, I'm a story here and there. I'll be goofy or I'll show something about my real life or whatever. But this is like something I live and breathe. You know what I'm saying? This means a lot to me. My music, my art, my visuals, everything. So I try to just put my all into everything that I do. And if it has something to do with the music or the art, you're going to get that. So on social media, a lot of my pages, especially on Instagram, it's, I'm sorry, am I boring you?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm done with this interview.
I'm just kidding.
So a lot of it, yeah, on my Instagram, that shit is art.
I think that's a really good point, especially as somebody who, does social media. That's like my thing. That I think a lot of aspects get sort of lost in, if you have to promote your music or if you have to get people to listen to this song, then the way that you do that is through going online and saying, hi everybody, listen to my song. You know what I'm saying? And then that's where I feel like people lose it. That in and of itself is something for you to curate, and it is something for you to make your own, and it is, or at least can be, fun. So I see a lot of people, a lot of artists and stuff now who will be on TikTok and be like, like my manager says I have to make a TikTok. Oh, here I am. It's like, girl, nobody cares. Like, I don't even have a manager. You know what I mean? Like, how about, like, there's so many people who would love to even have that. Oh, now you have to do, like, post a video? Girl.
I mean, some people are just strictly recording artists. Like, some people aren't visual. Like, no matter how crazy their music sounds, and it's like, oh my god, this person has to be able to create. Some people don't have that bone or can flex that muscle of like the visuals and the audio and the average and the marketing. And I will say this, nowadays it's unfair to artists sometimes, because even though you have all these avenues to create and make things, the competition is way crazier now. And then also it's like, when did artists in any generation of time have to be marketers, had to market their shit, have to like promote their shit constantly? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like rough.
It's draining.
It's draining. And you, in order to get signed, if you want to get signed as an artist, you have to reach a certain level of popularity now. Like, they're not just fishing people out of the water and just be like, yo, this motherfucker can sing. Like,
right, because now everybody can sing. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's the Disney thing. If you can't sing crazy, dance crazy, act crazy,
it's different.
There's another one waiting right behind you. Like,
but that's when the art suffers, in my opinion, too, because it's like we missing out on so many good artists that just aren't good at marketing their shit, or just aren't.
And the unfortunate truth of so many people who are good at marketing who can't fucking sing for shit or can't rap for shit, but they do know how to make a good PowerPoint, and now here we are, topping the charts.
That's why the industry is the way it is now. But a shift coming.
You were talking about, people choosing different paths, whether or not they essentially want to get signed by a record label. What is your opinion and or relationship with the record label industry as it is, I'm sure, vastly different now than it was 20 years ago?
I mean, I don't want to say fuck the record industry, but fuck them. It's not that I won't ever like play that game or ever be signed. I'm not gonna say that completely, but in order to get the right deal, in order to get that perfect situation, well, nothing's really perfect, but in order to get a good situation, it's like you have to leverage your career, you have to leverage your fans, and you have to leverage like your popularity. And in order to get there, you have to go through this journey of like finding yourself and your team and really chugging forward and like breaking down all these walls and barriers. By the time you get to the label, it's like you done did everything the label was supposed to do. Only difference is now they want your fucking masters and they want your soul.
Since we're here, we have to have the conversation that you and I have had many a time, and that is we're gonna have to have a top 5 discussion.
Top five.
Right now, you get 2 seconds. You don't get to like think about it. Who are you gonna put in your top 5? Strictly rap.
Strictly rap.
Strictly rap.
Just bars.
We're talking strictly rap. I didn't say just bars, but we're talking strictly rap. I'm saying not like hip hop, R&B. You know what I mean?
But hip hop. But it's not just bars, it's like artistry altogether.
Just rap.
Alright, Alright, no particular order.
No, you have to put it in order.
I gotta put it in order too?
Yes! Or at least semi-order, like, come on.
I'm gonna go Hove, 1, Jay-Z. I'm gonna go 2, I'm gonna go Kendrick, 2. I'm gonna go Ye, 3.
Oh, well, okay.
And this is a personal decision, obviously. Biggie, 4.
Okay.
And then 5. I'm gonna go Andre 3005 to round it out. And the Ye being in the middle, he would have been higher.
Top 2? How much higher can you get?
He's 3.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying he would have been top 2, higher?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of rough because a lot of these careers are still ongoing. You know what I'm saying? Not set in stone. But that would be my 5.
Final answer?
Yeah, that's my final. I feel nobody can really be mad at that 5. If you mad at that 5, you hate it. And you don't know hip hop.
Do you have do you have any like guilty pleasure artists?
Of course.
Who?
Playboy Cardi.
That's guilty pleasure?
If you know anything about my music and you know anything about me, that's the last person I should like or listen to. But yeah, I love it. But it's more the audacity of him. Places that he takes it outside of just the music that he makes that I like.
Would you like to know mine?
Yeah.
This is very top secret information.
Okay.
Mine is Shoreline Mafia.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're my guilty pleasure artists for sure. We're getting to the end. I would like to give my guests the opportunity to ask me one question. It can be about this, it can be about anything else. I'll give you a second, then you can ask away.
Okay. What inspired you to make a show like this, and where do you want to take it?
What inspired me to make a show like this is, I guess first and foremost, being a YouTube fan. Been on YouTube for a long time. Been making long form commentary content for a long time. And I do really like being able to go in depth with someone or about something and really give people the opportunity to learn something. That's the number one thing that I want people to take away from anything that I put out, is that it might be funny or entertaining, or it might just be, you know, silly, goofy. But I do feel as though it is my job to have people leave with something that they did not know, whether they like that thing or not. I feel like the knowledge can only sprout the seeds for you to learn more about different things, and I think that that's when people get the most opportunity to grow, is when they learn more. Some of my biggest inspirations, also being a consumer of like long form commentary content, are Shan Boudram. I love her podcast that she does with her husband. She's a sex therapist. Love that. I've been able to see the quality of her sort of channels grow. I also really love the YouTube channel Soft White Underbelly, which is one of the biggest inspirations for this show, which you should definitely go check them out. It's much more of a heavy hitter. Overall, emotionally heavy. It's, you know, kind of a hard watch sometimes, but I really appreciate his interview style and the way that he gives people who I feel like don't always get the opportunity to be listened to a place where they can tell their truth without essentially the overtone of they're not telling the truth, if that makes sense. Giving them, even if they might be struggling with addiction or mental health, they might not even know where they are, but still giving them the opportunity to say how they feel and talk about their life, because like I said, I feel like that's the way that people can grow the most. And then also one of my biggest inspirations, shout out to our favorite queen, Wendy Williams. Oh, you were talking about, and then where I want to take it. Yeah, so that's...
Where do you want to take it? Okay. Like eventually have your own show on a network, or do you want to continue the YouTube thing and see how far you can take that? I
would love to continue the YouTube thing, because another one of my many inspirations is the show, that's the name of the show. And they're like taglines like, cause it's our show and not yours. And that truly sums up everything I need to know. It matters more to me that I get to do what I want, it's my show, than it being on a network. If it were to be on a network, it would have to be obviously somewhere that I would be able to maintain creative control over and also just majority business control over as well, because that's very important to me. I don't really have any interest in being on PBS just for the sake of being on PBS, especially when I can reach the goals that I want to as far as being in control of the content, the branding, all of it while it's on YouTube. And I think that I can go a long way to increase the quality and stay in that little lane.
Right.
So that's what I would like.
Cool, dope. So you'll reach all your goals, you know what I'm saying? Because you got good people on your side. You know, I'm proud of you. Thanks. And I congratulate you for finishing the first official season. Clap it up, everybody. Yeah.
All right, well, this was our very final episode of the first season of English Breakfast. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you watched it all the way through. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. Season 2, I'm sure, will be coming. It's a lot of fucking work, you guys. Okay, so please subscribe so I can keep doing it. That would be lovely. Follow me everywhere. Have a great day. Have a great life. Do what it is that you do. And follow me for more. Bye.
Shout out Azella behind